Now, I'm assuming that you've probably joined this episode because maybe you have had an interview failure. And it can be pretty intimidating on how to get back on the horse, as they say, and try for another interview. They're not pleasant, they're intimidating, they're stressful, and then to get that phone call that said you weren't the successful candidate for the position you so desperately wanted to get. Why should you put yourself out there again, right? Why should I try? Well, I want you to try because every failure actually equals a success. Let me tell you more. I'm a human resource. I'm an HR professional. I've written thousands of interview questions and interviewed hundreds and hundreds of candidates. And unfortunately, I've had the sad responsibility of often calling candidates to say, you're not the selected candidate. We're not able to offer you this position. It's a really tough call because I've watched the candidates through these interviews. I know how desperately you want to get that job and how you want to bring across your best self in that interview. I've watched you struggle and sometimes go completely blank on the answer or answer the question wrong. I've even looked at your resumes and realized you had a lot more you could have told me. You just didn't. And that's okay. I'm here to help because interview preparation is the key. Interviewing's a skill, and yes, it can be somewhat intimidating. But if you have the right preparation, the right information, we can build that confidence. So, step number one, you've gotten that phone call. You are not the successful candidate. It's heartbreaking. I get it. So, what do you do now? The first thing to do is find out whether or not the interview panelist or organization is willing to give you any feedback or insight into how you could prepare for next time. That's key. You need to show them that you are still interested. You want to thank them for the opportunity of doing the interview and ask them how you could prepare or get more experience so that you would be a more viable candidate next time. Some organizations are willing to tell you, and some aren't. They just don't have the staffing or ability to do so. In fact, many people are told via email or letter that you're not the successful candidate, and so there's no way to get any feedback. So, step number two is that after your interview, doesn't matter how it went, you need to write down your own information. What did they ask you? Which questions did you feel really comfortable answering? And which ones didn't you? Why? Was there terminology used in the question that you weren't familiar with? So now you know what you need to research? Were they asking for things that you just don't have the experience in? So now you know you need to build that experience. Did they ask for examples you didn't have ready? So now you know you need to get those examples ready. There's actually a lot of information that you can figure out in doing your own analysis post-interview. Another one of my episodes that can really help is the one on how do they mark an interview question. Listen to that and think about how did I answer the interview questions? How far would I have gotten myself along that interviewing scale? Did I demonstrate a detailed understanding of what they were asking? Did I answer the question of how I have displayed those behaviors, skills, or experience in the past and why I know it to be important in this position? Or, let's be honest, my answer was a little vague. I was kind of rambling. I actually don't even think I answered the question. Okay, that's all great feedback and all things that you're going to use in your next interview preparation. So step 3 is then figuring out, how do I move from here? How do I start to prepare maybe more effectively or in a more informed way for that next interview? And that's where I fit in. As a human resources specialist who had to give that bad news to so many candidates, I started to put a lot of thought into what I could tell candidates, maybe in that short debrief, but also in a longer process to help them better prepare. It's one of the reasons I've created these episodes, because I want to reach more people and help. I've also created a website, jobinterviewcoach.ca, in which I've created an online course. It's got videos that I've prepared. It's got information and assignments and ways that you can really start to logically figure out what the next steps are. Because interview preparation is key, and how you prepare is going to really help you. And let me tell you, if I see a candidate that was not very successful in my first interview, but 6 months later or a year later reapplies for that position, gets to the interview, and rocks it, I am incredibly impressed. Why? Because you've shown me a willingness to learn. You've shown me a willingness to take your own feedback, learn from failures, and progress. And you've shown me an interest and a dedication to the job that you're applying for. Those are all really good qualities. So instead of just grumbling and kicking your feet and saying, I'm never applying for that job again, give yourself time. Brush yourself off. Take a deep breath and think, I got this. I can rock that interview. I just have to learn how. So I hope that you'll like this episode and subscribe to my channel, because it is designed to specifically help you do exactly that. Rock that next interview and figure out how to practice for success. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me, and check out these next episodes created just for you to help you rock that interview and practice for success. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And don't forget to look up my website, jobinterviewcoach.ca, for that free PDF. See you soon.